Let me tell you, there's something about being asked to kneel in a courtroom that just doesn't leave your bones. You know what I mean? I still remember every second of that night, heck. I can see the way the fluorescent lights of County General burned after 12 hours on my feet, shoes so worn down they were basically begging for mercy, and the only thing I wanted was to sit in my own car for 5 minutes and just not be needed by anybody. So there I was parked in my spot, letting the cool air whisper around me. Eyes closed, then comes this bang on the window, flashlight all up in my face like I'm the villain in my own driveway. I roll the window down, try not to sound tired or annoyed, and I see this young white officer, looking like he's already decided I don't belong. Got a report of suspicious activity, he says, and I tell him, this is my home, I just got off work, here's my badge, my license, whatever you want. But he keeps pressing, you got drugs in the car? Been drinking? And I want to laugh except it isn't funny. I tell him, I'm a nurse, I'm just tired. Next thing I know, he's on his radio talking about a female subject, possible non-compliance, backup needed. I'm thinking, is this real? Am I being detained for breathing in my own car? Then the door yanks open, he grabs my wrist, twists it back, and suddenly I'm face down on the hood of my own car, hands cuffed, purse spilling open, ID badge hanging by a thread. Another cop shows up, shrugs, and nobody cares that I'm telling the truth. Nobody cares that the only thing I'm guilty of is exhaustion. Not one neighbor comes out. The squad car's cold, my shoe left behind on the curb, and I ride off in silent Sino sirens. Just the shame, like maybe if I'd smiled more, been less tired, this wouldn't be happening. Court the next morning? That's a different kind of cold. Judge Raymond Hale comes in like a man who's got no time for human storyish looks at the nameplate, not the people. My public defender, Liam, he's barely out of law school, but tries to stand up for me. The judge, though, he's got this way of speaking that makes you feel small without saying anything direct. Tells Liam, you people always come in here with a sob story. I want facts, not drama. When Liam says I did nothing wrong, Hale just sighs, like he's heard it 1,000 times. I sit quiet, my hands in my lap, but the courtroom's frozen, every stare like a verdict. And that's when the judge leans forward and tells me, Miss Carter, step forward and kneel. I swear, you could hear the oxygen leave the room. I look him right in the eye and say, not defiant, just clear, did you just tell me to kneel? And he says, you heard me. My lawyer's shouting, objecting, but the judge doesn't budge, says he'll hold me in contempt if I refuse. There's this tension, like a storm about to break, when suddenly from the back, a man in a gray suit stands up quiet, but his voice slices through the room. Stop this hearing now. Turns out, this is Samuel Rhodes, Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court, and he's been watching the whole time, watching the judge, watching me, watching the system grind people down. He tells Hale, you've crossed a line, you turned this courtroom into a platform for humiliation, and you're done here. Within minutes, charges against me are dropped, the record cleared, and I walk out, not in triumph, just finished. But let me tell you, the look on Judge Hale's face, the whole system on its knees for once. Instead of methods, a moment I'll carry forever. After that, everything cracks open. Rhodes sits down with me, Liam, and even Maria, a woman whose sister was sentenced by Hale for wearing the wrong blouse. She brings evidence, a flash drive with dashcam footage showing my arrest was bogus. Suddenly, it's not just about me. Rhodes launches a full audit of Hale's rulings, hundreds of cases, patterns of targeting women of color, harsh sentences for attitude or noncompliance. Liam finds an old file of his own, a young man named Darnell, 6 months for trespassing at a store where he once worked. It hits all of us. Show many times we told ourselves to stay quiet, keep our heads down, and just move on. But you can't move on from some things. The news blows up video of me standing, refusing to kneel, goes viral, and suddenly it's everywhere. TikTok, news panels, hashtags. Lawyers who clerked for Hale start coming forward, stories pouring out about sentences given for slouching, a look, a tone. Some folks like Judge Caraway try to call it all a stunt, but receipts start coming out, and the walls, they start to crack for real. I don't want to be a symbol. Never Dee just wanted to get home, rest, be left alone. But suddenly people are writing letters, kids telling me my silence was loud, lawyers confessing to their own silence. Whole communities looking at old scars in a new light. Even Maria's sister, finally cleared after years of shame, tells me through tears, "You were right. They were wrong." It all comes to a head a year later, when Hale sits alone before a judicial panel, his robe gone, his power drained away. I walk up to the witness stand, not shaking now, not angry, just sure. I tell the panel he didn't want obedience, he wanted submission. And when I didn't give it, I became a problem. The ruling is swift. Hale's stripped of his authority, referred for criminal investigation. No cheers, just relief, like a held breath finally released. Justice Samuel Rhodes stands at the back, nods at me on the way out, says quietly, "Justice doesn't need to humiliate. It just needs to correct." And that's what sticks the difference between vengeance and dignity. Later, the new wing in my hospital is named the Carter Justice Wing. I stand there before the stone, my name carved small, the words, "Let no silence be mistaken for surrender." I don't speak much, just thank Rhodes for making space for the right voices. Sometimes I go back to the courthouse not to relive, but to witness change. There's a new judge, a black woman with sharp eyes and a calm voice, making room for scared girls on the stand. Liam, my once green defender, walks beside me, more confident now. "People are listening," he says. "They always were," I tell him, "just needed someone to say it first. You know, some stories don't roar, they whisper, and wait to see who's really listening." This wasn't about revenge. It was about standing tall when the world wants you small. Through that, others found their voice. So I gotta ask, if you were in my shoes, would you have stood up or knelt down? Let me know what justice means to you. Comment below, share your story, and let's keep this conversation going, because silence doesn't protect us, but breaking it just might change everything.